Well, good morning, everyone. It's wonderful to see everyone that we have here in person. And thank you to all the people that are on our Zoom link. It's great to be back. It's great to see people. And it's great for us to know that we are going to move forward. Now, first of all, I want to make sure everybody knows that if you are vaccinated, you may wear a mask if you're comfortable or not. If you're not vaccinated, we do expect you to have a mask on. The same thing will happen at this point in the classrooms, and we'll talk about more of that this morning. The first thing we're going to do this morning, though, I'm going to kind of introduce each one of the exec staff and let them explain to you. In some cases, some people will have very little say, some will have a little more about what's going on in their area, so you will be caught up. Then I will finish up with some things, and then we will take some questions if you have questions. And there are some things we're not doing today that we usually do. And I'm sorry, but we're not going to introduce new faculty or staff yet because of the fact that we are all not together yet, and some people are not here yet. We'll do that a little later, and we will also recognize people that have retired. And I would hope before the end of the year, we'll be able to have some sort of a reception for those that retired and we didn't get to do something for because of COVID. So that being said, we're back. As I said, it's wonderful to see you. Yesterday, I got to see some of the students. It was wonderful to talk with them, and we'll talk a few minutes about some of the things they told me that they're thrilled about and some things they're concerned about, which I'm sure you are too. So with that, we will introduce people. Now, the first person I'm going to introduce, she's not going to necessarily come up here, but she can if she wants, is the lady I couldn't do without. And she really runs the office. And that's my Gina. She does so many things for faculty and staff. And if you come to my office, you'll get to know her well. Now, she also is the type of person that always does what needs to be done. So at 10:30, she's going to get up, and I have a timeout chair in the hallway. And Gina's going to go to the timeout chair, and she's going to monitor the governor's press conference at 10:30. I'm not sure if he's going to say anything about masks, but if he does, I didn't want us to leave this room without us knowing that, okay? Because he's kind of hinted that he may change his mind a little. And so his conference starts at 10:30, and no reflection on the governor, but he usually doesn't start on time. But we will be there at 10:30 to monitor and see if we know what he's going to say. So, but I do thank Gina for everything she does, not for just me, but for the college and the faculty and the staff. And she's very, very well respected, and I appreciate her to no end. So thank you. All right, our first person that's going to give us a little bit of overview of what they're doing is Dr. Joan Neff. She is our provost. She's been doing double duty this year, and I appreciate her very much. We're going to relieve her of one of those duties here, and she'll talk about that in a minute. But Dr. Neff.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you're excited to be back and ready to get in the swing of things. I certainly am. I want to take this opportunity to thank everybody for all the good work they did last year in trying to make sure that we were all safe and we were doing what we needed to do with respect to working with our students. And I think that makes all the difference when we keep that focus. I do want to recognize our academic leaders this morning. We have, I think there's a slide that does that, but I think it's important to keep in mind that it's all of us together, working together to make this happen. I think we've been very fortunate to have the opportunity that we've had to be in seat, and we're continuing to go forward with that. And that really relies on everyone's cooperation to make that happen. But I do want to recognize a few people that are within academic affairs and that I work with on a frequent basis. First, Steve Goodman. Steve Goodman is currently serving as interim dean of the College of Engineering and Sciences. And also I wanted to. Yeah. Okay.
I want them to see, because
Oh,
there
okay.
they
Okay.
I want them to see, so.
This is a photo opportunity for anyone who wants to have their cell phones out. Yeah. So Steve has graciously stepped into the role of being interim dean of the college while we continue to search for the next dean of the college. And his administrative associate, I don't know if Karen Skaggs is here. Is Karen in the room? There she is. We should give her a hand too. In my experience, it's really administrative associates and administrative assistants that make the academic world run as efficiently as it does. So I appreciate what they do as well. And so Steve is going to be in this role until we hire the next dean of the college. And as you may or may not know, Paul Steranka, who was in that role, decided that he would step down, and he is actually retiring. So if you see Paul around, you want to congratulate him on a very long and very great career with Tech. He did so many different things while he was here. And so Steve has agreed graciously to take over that position until we hire the next dean. But thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
And as Carolyn mentioned, I've been serving kind of in the dual role of being campus provost and interim dean of the College of Business, Humanities, and Social Sciences since January. And so we are fortunate now to have someone who's going to come in and let me go back to just being one person as opposed to two people. And I want to introduce Scott Fleming, Dr. Scott Fleming, who will be coming to join us. Scott is joining us from Morgantown, and he is going to become the interim dean of Business, Humanities, and Social Sciences starting September 1. So we're very pleased to have him with us, and I'm sure you'll be getting to know more about him as we go forward. But his areas are in the business world, accounting, and all of those sorts of good things, right? So, yeah, so that means that everybody in Business, Humanities, and Social Sciences has to count their pennies correctly. Because he's going to be checking on all that, and he knows how to do it. And then I also want to recognize Connie Walker, who I believe also is maybe in the room. Okay, where's she? Okay, there's Connie. And I want to thank Connie because she has been part of the team that has kind of kept me straight in terms of filling both roles. She's the one that usually says, you're supposed to be here now. And you're not, so you need to go there. But I really appreciate it, and it's been great to have an opportunity not only to work with Connie, but also to work more closely with the faculty and staff in Business, Humanities, and Social Sciences. And everyone has been really great in terms of understanding that, you know, I'm more accustomed to dealing with things at a different office than I am with dealing with things in a dean's office. But I think, you know, with all of their help, I've managed to get through it pretty well. And then I also want to see if Teresa Ritchie is here. Is Teresa here this morning? Okay. I don't know if she's on, she may be on Zoom. But Teresa is our chair of the WVU School of Nursing on the Beckley campus. And her program assistant is Julie Wood. And again, we are happy to have the School of Nursing here on our campus, and just appreciate the fact that they are in our classes and taking the General Education Foundation courses, but that we actually are able to offer nursing here on our campus. I also wanted to recognize the academic affairs staff, because some of you may or may not know that there are a variety of different things that are folded within academic affairs as a portfolio, but I want to recognize those people who are doing the work in those areas. So is Amanda Baker here this morning? She's probably not, because she's probably advising students. But Amanda Baker is the interim coordinator of the Student Success Center. And as you may know, that involves a lot of different things, but it involves primarily working with our first year students to make sure that they get advised and registered for classes. And it also involves, there's a tutoring center there. There's also other types of support in terms of accommodations and that kind of thing. And so Amanda has been filling in that role, and we are searching for a new coordinator of the Student Success Center, and hopefully we will find someone to fill that position in the near future. I also wanted to mention, as part of the team, Marcia Bastian. And I don't know if Marcia is here today. She may be Zooming in as well. But Marcia is the director of the Testing Center and also director of Assessment and Instructional Development. So the Testing Center, for those of you that don't know, is an enterprise. It is not, it's not standalone because it's tied to us. But when folks need to take a standardized test, for example, EMT test, let's say, they can sign up to do that on our campus in the Testing Center. And Marcia is one of the people who actually, makes sure that that happens. And she also is the director of Assessment and Instructional Development. So if you're in a program that has an assessment requirement coming up in the near future, you really want to talk to Marcia, because she's been through program assessment with a number of folks and help people get them through. She also does a lot of work with eCampus. Again, if you've not used eCampus, if you're new, you really want to get in touch with Marcia, because she can be very, very helpful in terms of helping you understand how to get your stuff, whatever that might be, into eCampus, how to use it for grading purposes and so forth. Also, Barbara Boyd. I don't know if Barb's here. She's probably pretty tied up this morning also. Barbara Boyd is serving as Associate Registrar, making sure that all of our new students get registered appropriately in their classes, making sure that students who need to make changes or who have issues with respect to classes have an opportunity to come and talk and figure out what they need to do. So she's been here for a long time, and she knows basically where all the bodies are buried at this point. So you have to be careful what you say around Barb. But yeah, she's been very helpful to me in that role, and making sure that we have classes, that we have classrooms for the classes, and keeping all of those things going. Next, there's Mary Strife. I don't know if Mary's here either, but Mary is our university librarian, and she has done a great job of making sure that the library provides for the students' needs in terms of the books. We have access to not only our own books, but also books from Morgantown, and then all of the electronic access that we have to various types of databases. She has a wonderful cadre of student workers who basically can run the library. That's how good they are after they've been there for a couple of years. In fact, last winter when we had some snowy days, it was the students who actually opened the library before the staff could get here. So that's also something that she's been very good at, is helping her students learn how to do that sort of thing and how to make sure the library stays open. And then Mike Webb, who is right over here, okay, he's our Director of Information Technology Services, and has done a remarkable job of making sure that we're always up to date with respect to our computers in the labs, the classrooms, and our desks, and all of that. He and his team work all the time to make sure that we have what we need in terms of IT and the ability to connect with the internet and so forth. In fact, my internet at home was down this morning. I almost called Mike and said, "Can you come fix this?" But I figured he was probably busy here, so I didn't do that. So we appreciate everything that IT does in the classrooms and for us across the board. And then finally, my administrative assistant in the campus provost office, and that's Vanessa Williams. And I know she's not able to be here today, but she's the person that, again, if I'm not around or not available, she can usually answer most of the questions and takes care of dealing with many of the issues that we have as they arise with respect to making sure that people have what they need in terms of, getting in touch with IT or the library or whatever it is. So she has a lot of different areas that she monitors and makes sure that we're doing what we need to do. So again, I want to say, it's great to see everybody coming back. I hope we have a great year. I hope everyone will comply and abide by all the protocol that we need. And if not, let me know. And if they're under me, I will let them know that they need to do that. Okay. So thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, Dr. Neff. Next, I want our Dean of Enrollment to come forward and say a couple of things. And I do want you to know that we will talk a little bit about enrollment later, but because of his great team and the work they have done and with his leadership, I think we're going to have a fairly, if not a very large freshman class. So, all right, Mr. Kent Gamble.
Thank you all. I think one of the things that I'm very excited for is to have high school students and middle school students in this room. I haven't had a lot of opportunities to make presentations in this room. And if you know about what we do throughout the academic year with the admissions office, we have a lot of visitors on campus. So I'm really looking forward to all of you not being high school students or being middle school students and allowing me the opportunity to make the presentation. But we're excited for the upcoming year and welcoming the students in the next couple of days. And with what the provost said, when those individuals, they're still working on students for the fall of 2021. And so whether it's the Student Success Center or the registrar's office or the admissions office, we're still working on students for fall 2021, whether they're a new student, a readmit, a transfer, a non-degree, a second degree, we're continuing to take care of business for this fall. Now, one of the things that's really unique about admissions is we're making a transition. It's now time to work in the spring, summer, and fall of 2022. So that's one of the things that's very unique. So we're not only were you focusing on fall, we're transitioning now to 2022. I want to thank each and every one of you. We have done a wonderful job this year, given the circumstances. And as the president spoke of, our enrollment numbers look strong. And we're very excited for that, whether it was applications or admits or new student registrations. We're very excited to be in this position. But again, we're ready for the fall and spring and summer of 2022. So again, I want to thank what everyone has done, faculty, staff, and administration. We could not have brought this class in without each and every one of you doing your job, because enrollment is everyone's business. Recruitment and retention build enrollment. So I thank each and every one of you. I look forward to a great year. I'm excited to move into this class and go after the next class. And hopefully it will be a great year. So thank you to each and every one of you for what you have done to recruit this class and continue to recruit and retain students. Thank you.
Okay, next I will ask for the lady that does all of this to get us ready, along with our IT people, Jen Wood Cunningham. She also, along with being our communications and our alumni person, last year she became the guru of how do you register people to get vaccinated, which I can assure you was never something she thought she'd be doing, okay? But she did a wonderful job, as always. So Jen, you're next.
Yeah, I definitely didn't think with a business degree from Tech that I would be working at the vaccination clinic with Peggy and others in our nursing department to make that happen, but I'm very honored to get the opportunity to do that. But as we all know, Golden Bears are adaptable, and we just learn how to make things work. So I want to share a couple UR updates with you. If you have alumni coming to speak at your class or coming to do a program or working with you in any way, let me know. We have some things in the office that we can provide gifts to them. We're not going to bombard them with information or anything, but if they have interest in learning more about what we're doing with alumni relations, we can get connected with them. Also, if you hear, I know especially our faculty are great about knowing what's going on with our alumni. If you hear of any promotions or things that our alumni are doing in their careers, please let me know. We do have a class notes button on the alumni page that they can fill that out, or you can fill it out for them. And we're actually, Chelsea, our newest employee in the UR office, Chelsea, wave to everybody. She handles our social media and digital content, but she's working really hard to share that information and celebrate our alumni on LinkedIn and our other social media platforms. So as much content as we can get to celebrate our alumni, we really appreciate that. Also, we will have homecoming, a little different than what we've done in the recent years, but the homecoming committee made the decision to move homecoming to the spring. So homecoming will be February 9th through February 19th. And the culminating event will be on Saturday with men's and women's basketball, and it will be senior day. So we'll be able to honor all of our senior athletes. We'll have our alumni awardees there. We'll have activities for the community. We're actively working on a community sponsor to buy out the basketball games so that anyone from the community can come to that game. So not only a great opportunity to honor our senior athletes, but to also honor our alumni awardees. The award application, if you know of alumni who are excelling in their careers, is on the alumni page under the honors and awards button. So that includes the Hall of Fame, the Alumni of the Year, and the Nelson Distinguished Young Alumnus Award. We also are adding a brand new award this year that will be nominated by alumni and students for a faculty award. And it's the Golden Bear Empowerment Award for faculty who have inspired and supported students in their academic career and in their career after graduation. That'll be a brand new one we'll be adding to the alumni awards that we'll be hosting in February. So I have two more things to share really quick. One, we're working with our local recruiter on campus from the Army National Guard with some activities on campus, and you'll continue to see some materials about that, and we're adding some web content, but there's lots of resources for our students and campus community around that, and some things that I've learned that are benefits to our students, so we want to make sure that folks know that. So the last update that I have for folks, many of you have worked with him, and I know we all want to wish him well. Zach Carrier, our Assistant Director of University Relations, has an opportunity outside the university that we would never want to ask him to pass up, even though we'll be sad to see him go, and today is his last day. So before you leave the meeting today, yeah, everybody give Zach a round of applause. But before you leave the meeting today, if you want to chat with him and talk with him, he has promised to be around. And just for you to know, he didn't graduate from Tech, but he has spent more years at Tech, 7.5 years that he's been with Tech. He's been here longer than he did with his alma mater. So he definitely feels like a Golden Bear, and we want him to continue to be a Golden Bear, and he's promised to come back for homecoming. So we will see. We'll hold him to that. But we know that we wouldn't be where we are with our messaging and all the content that we've been able to share, and also with everything that we do with admissions to help recruit new students without Zach. So we do appreciate all that you've done, Zach, for the university, and you'll always be a Golden Bear. And that's all that I have to share, but we're very excited for a new year and look forward to working with you all.
And I will double that about Zach. We will miss him terribly, but we appreciate the years he gave us and the wonderful service that he provided to this institution. So thank you again. Okay, all righty. So we changed rounds this morning, so I'm kind of okay. So one of our newest members that she didn't really get to know a whole lot of people on campus is our new HR partner. Jules Sell. She decided she would take a job and have a new baby at the same time. So she was off a little bit, and then all at once we had a pandemic. So she really hasn't got to be around to know everybody. So we're really glad to have you here. She's doing us an excellent job, and come up and introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. I am Janelle Williams-Sewell, and it is an honor to be here today. I just wanted to give you a quick update on some things that are happening within talent and culture, and to let you know that we have a huge focus this year on culture development, on the development of our employees. In the university setting, students come first, and we know that. That's why we're here. But we also know that we have to invest in our employees and in you. And so we are looking to increase our employee engagement and development over this next year. And we are launching within talent and culture, the leadership and organization development courses for professional development, people leaders, and more. So next slide, please, Jen. Some of the things that we're going to be working on over this next year are working with our leadership development. And those are for all people who are people leaders. So you're probably asking, what in the world is a people leader? People leaders are your executive leaders, they're your senior leaders, and they're all your supervisors. So if you are in that role, there is a special course curriculum for you. Also, we have professional development offerings that are going to be going out, and that is designed for all employees, including people leaders. And I say that because all of us have more to learn. And so we're looking to become a learning organization system-wide. I'm going to go over a few of those classes for you shortly. And then, of course, new hires. We get hired to the university, and sometimes we just jump in and it's our first day, we're excited, and we get there and it's like, okay, What next? Well, with it being the what next theory, we have some things in store for you. And it's walking you through a onboarding process that will help you to get acclimated to your campus within the first 10 days, 30 days, and 60 days to see what are we doing well and what do you need more help with. Next slide, please, Jen. As we know with people leaders, we know that people leaders have the strongest influence on employee engagement. And so here are a few of the classes that are going to be offered for us over this next year. One of the things I'd like you to take note to is that we have a plethora of classes for you that are webinar, but also that are e-learning. And so these courses can be taken actually on demand or if scheduled for a group. So whether you're new to leading people or whether you've been with the organization for a long time, there's something there for you. There's a lot of tools, there's a lot of resources that can effectively help you to lead your team. Some of the most attended courses that we've had in the past have to do with how you onboard new employees through a virtual panel. Also, we're going to talk about coaching and feedback. A lot of times when it comes to performance management, we might think that performance is only evaluated once a year. However, we're going to work with you to teach you how to have ongoing dialogue with your employees so that we can get it right. And then last but not least, there's one that is coming that is very influential, and that's for individuals who have moved from a peer to a position where they may become a supervisor. How do you navigate that transition successfully? We're here to help you get it right. Next slide, please. For professional development, as I said before, that is for every employee, whether you're a supervisor, whether you're executive leader, and whether you're an individual contributor. And so this is what we like to look at to help to foster employee growth, development, and to improve your performance. This can increase engagement, and it also helps you discover new concepts and techniques that you can use daily on the job. This is practical, hands-on information that you can use at your fingertips. Some of the best classes that have been well attended are building and maintaining trust in the workforce. Another is how to self-promote while working if you are working remotely. And then the other is being valuable in your one-on-one meetings. Are you bringing all that you can to the table? Are they being efficient? And are you truly meeting the milestone when you are in your one-on-one meetings with your leaders? Next slide, please. So the leadership and organization development classes are easily accessible through a LOD class registration portal. And I will work with Jen Wood to make sure that she gets all of this information out to you campus-wide. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. This will be the portal where you can register for your classes, you can manage your learning and development, and you can just check in to see almost like a transcript of what you have achieved. All employees are encouraged to take advantage of, get ready, these free courses, woohoo! So they are free for every employee, and faculty is also able to participate in this. I will say that the provost office in Morgantown does have a very well-rounded faculty development program that offers specific professional development for leaders and faculty. And then if you are a faculty member and you supervise employees, we strongly encourage you to participate in these classes. Next slide. So I tried to give you a snippet of what the portal actually looks like. And what you'll see is that you can go to the portal and you can see all of the class offerings. You can also pick the topic that you're most interested in, and you can add yourself to a waiting list. I'm here to answer any questions you may have. If you think this might be an opportunity for your units or for you individually, please reach out to me. I can come to staff meetings to promote it and also to answer questions. I can help you also individually navigate the site. And next slide, it's just my contact information. I hope to hear from you. I look forward to working with each and every one of you. I'm Janelle Williams-Sewell. Please feel free to give me a call or an email. And if you have specific LOD questions, I've provided the link for you on the slide, and their email address is lod@mail.wvu.edu. And I look forward to working with you. Let's have a good semester.
Well, talk about that your first year of Dean of Students, you have a pandemic. Your first year, you do that, and then they say to you, and by the way, you need to also do the all the tracing, contact tracing, and you need to schedule all of the testing. And that's what happened to our Emily. And she did it beautifully, and I appreciate her to no end. So next is our Dean of Students, Emily Sands.
Thank you, guys. Welcome back. It's exciting to have all of you guys back. First things first, we do have move-in starting today. So you'll see students, if you're here this weekend, moving into Hogan and University now through Tuesday. So please say hi and welcome our new students and our returning students. The other thing is orientation for our new students will begin on Sunday, the 15th, with an ice cream social and run through Tuesday, the 17th. You should have received an email from Cindy on my behalf on Tuesday, the 11th, inviting you to register to come do a welcome back for us for convocation. We'll have streamers and bubbles and noisemakers. We do want to make sure that we are welcoming our incoming freshman class in an exciting manner since we are fully back in person now. So if you have not signed up yet, please let us know if you can attend. The other thing is with classes and our own ongoing COVID pandemic, we still have to do contact tracing. So if you can take daily attendance and if you can continue to use the seating charts that Rob Moyers will provide you or has provided you, we really appreciate it. And I do want to thank you all for your very swift responses last year when I asked for attendance or seating charts. It made my job with the contact tracing a lot easier. The other thing is last year we did send out notices for students that experienced a COVID-related event. We are going to continue that again this year for you. So if a student experiences a COVID-related event, you will get notification. What will happen this year is if the student is not vaccinated, it will fall more under our normal Dean of Students absence policy, meaning it is up to your discretion how much you work with the student in regards to making up work and how you view that class absence. If we would have a breakthrough case with a student being vaccinated and then they do contract COVID, we will work with you on a case-by-case basis to notify you of that. If we do have a breakthrough case, we do ask that you work with that student a little bit more. Try to provide an online class, just because they did get vaccinated, but unfortunately there was a breakthrough. I know a lot of you are advisors for our student organizations, and we really appreciate that. We do want to let you know that student organizations can gather with no restrictions this year. They can do their events, they can do their planning, they can host meetings. We do ask that you keep in mind and try to host a hybrid meeting and continue to offer that Zoom option for your student events and for your student organization meetings. The other things are, you should have received communication all throughout the summer asking you to verify your vaccine status. That needed to be done by August 1 for faculty, staff, and students. If you did not verify that you were fully vaccinated by August 1, you are required to provide to Student Life a negative test result. Please don't email that to us. Please stop by our office. Cindy or I will look at it and we will mark that you have provided that test result to us. It does have to be a PCR test. It cannot be rapid. And please provide that to us by August 20th. The first 3 days of classes, we will actually be in the Learning Commons, if that's easier for you to drop it by and show it to us. And if you do happen to become fully vaccinated throughout the semester, this goes for faculty, staff, and students. If you do become fully vaccinated throughout the semester, please go online, register that vaccination, because then that will remove you from our subsequent testing. Because we still will have to do subsequent testing for a certain percentage of our population this year, every week. So don't make me email you and say, hey, I need you to go get tested again. And the other thing is, if you have questions or concerns about your students, whether it's with COVID or anything going on in their life, please reach out to us in Student Life. That's why we are here. We are here to help our students, and we can't help them if we don't know what's going on. So if you're concerned about a student, you can call us, or there's an online care form that you can fill out. But thank you very much and welcome back.
Well, and next is a person that's also new to her position, even though she's worked in finance for a long time. And we appreciate having our new CFO, Miss Amy Alton.
Good morning, everyone. It's so good to see you all in person and on Zoom. I have a few financial updates for you all today. I will start with some announcements from the WVU Hub, but next slide, please, Jen. First, some of you might be saying, what is the WVU Hub? So the Hub handles all student financial services. That includes student accounts and financial aid. The WVU Hub integrates the offices on our campuses with the hub on the Morgantown campus and the sister offices on the Potomac State campus. Our offices on this campus will be going through a rebranding effort, but don't worry, you will continue to receive the same great service that you are used to, and we will continue to serve our campus community in the offices on our campus. I also wanted to remind everybody about some important dates that are upcoming for fall 2021. So August 13th, which is today, is the earliest day that students can pick up their books if they are paying with financial aid. Next Wednesday, the first day of classes, is the earliest that refunds will be available. Friday, the 27th, is the last day that students can pick up books if they reserve them with financial aid. Tuesday, the 31st, is the last day to enroll in a 3-month CashNet payment plan. And that's a great opportunity to be able to break up your fall balance into 3 installments. And then Wednesday, September 1st, is the due date for all August bills. And I've included our location for the student accounts and all the financial aid offices, as well as our contact information. Next slide, please, Jen. Next, I wanted to provide some information on the ARPA emergency grants that were recently announced. So through the American Rescue Plan Act, WVU will distribute over $27 million in emergency grants directly to students, and that does include WVU Tech students. This will be an automatic process for domestic students, and it will be based on Pell eligibility and EFC. For international students that are eligible, they will receive an email from the Office of Global Affairs with instructions on how to apply for the grants. Now, students do have to have a FAFSA on file by August 20th, and then the grants will start distributing on the week of August 30th. Next slide, please, Jen. Now, this next slide shows the different levels of the emergency grants based on the different criteria, and you will see they range from $500 to $1,500. And again, students must have a FAFSA on file by August 20th to be eligible. Next slide, please, Jen. Lastly, I wanted to give everyone the fiscal year 22 spending guidelines. These will be very similar to fiscal year 21. So first, all purchases over $1,000 will need pre-approval by President Long or Provost Neff, regardless of the funding source. All hospitality, regardless of dollar amount, will need prior approval by either your dean or unit vice president before the event. The exception to this is if the purchase will be funded by a WVU Foundation account. All travel, non-grant funded travel, will need approved by your dean or vice president prior to booking any reservations. Now, travel will be very limited this year, and the preference will be for a Zoom or a webinar option, and to limit as much in-person travel as possible. I know this past year has been really difficult, and I just want to say thank you to everyone across campus for your efforts to control the spending. It is truly a team effort, and we were able to help offset some of the financial impacts due to the pandemic. We must continue to work together to minimize our spending and to continue to improve our financial position. So I just want to say thank you to everyone. Now, I'm looking forward to a great year with you all, and I'll turn it back over to President Long.
Okay, now, I want to make sure I've got the right one. It's behind me. They're over here fighting who's coming next. Okay, all right. All right, it's one of the two big guys. Okay, what can I say? That we just think the world of. And I don't know what we could have done without Rob Moyers and his wonderful staff that kept the buildings clean, kept the lawns and all of the beautiful campus looking the way it does, and helped keep all of us safe. It was a tough year for them. They did double duty in many cases and did a superb job. So our Director of Facilities and Operations, Mr. Rob Moyers.
I'm not sure what you all did on your summer vacation, but I tore up a campus. And I still have 4 days to put it back. There's a few projects that are lingering, and we'll be working towards getting cleanup and getting those finished before school starts. We tried to cram 2 years worth of summer projects into one, and I think I'm gonna have a revolt on my team here this fall, so I might have to buy some lunch and some cake or something to please them, because we did accomplish a lot during this summer. Touched a lot of buildings, prepped and cleaned and maintained the buildings during the summer months. So I'm very excited on what my team was able to get accomplished. And I hope you guys are excited with the look and the feel of the campus. And I hope it helps us recruit, attract, and retain faculty, staff, and students by all of their hard work. So first thing I want to touch on is the classroom environments. Similar to what we did last year, the classrooms and the labs will both have hand sanitizers. We've left those into the classrooms. And we've left the large plexiglass shield in the front of the classrooms so that you can move that in front of the instructor station or the front table if you need be. We're working with Morgantown and I guess the governor and other things to understand what our overall mask rule is going to be, but we will have some masks available if you need them. We will also have the plexi shields for those labs. I know we had a couple of labs last year that required some of the face shields. So we do have some in stock. If you need them, please email me. We thought we had some pretty good success last year in the classroom environment by handing out markers, erasers, and cleaners to all of the faculty so that they had their own supplies available and they didn't necessarily have to use the ones that were in the classroom. We duplicated again this year, and I believe each of the colleges have a bag available for all the faculty. So stop by their office and pick up your bag of classroom cleaning supplies and markers. As I mentioned, the face shields will also be available if you need them in the labs. And as Emily pointed out, we did create new room layouts for the campus because we are now back at full capacity instead of the half capacity. So all of those drawings and the PDFs are available. Each of the deans and the administrative associates should have copies of those, and then they can just distribute those out to each one of you. Last but not least, in regards to classrooms, working with the provost and Barb Boyd, effective immediately, the facilities management team will be assisting with events in classrooms. In the past, you'd have to work with Jerica or Nancy and book the auditorium and then call Barb and see if 2 classes are available in the building. Well, we've cut that in half. So now all you have to do is reach facilities, and we'll be addressing the classroom and auditorium scheduling. Please note that we will not be booking any events in classrooms for at least the first 2 weeks of classes. That allows you guys the flexibility if classes grow or need additional seating and we have to move things around. The only exception is if we're going to be something after 4 o'clock or on the weekends. So if you have something during the next 2 weeks on Saturday or Sunday, we will go ahead and book those in the classrooms for you. Next item is work orders. Faculty and staff, if you need something repaired, fixed, moved, please submit a work order to the Facilities Management Department. Students, I ask that you work with the RDs in each of your residence halls to go ahead and process any work orders in regards to your room or the buildings that you're living in. I have to explain the process a little bit. We, similar to many of the organizations around campus, utilize the tools that Morgantown has, and the work order management system is one of those. What could happen is at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you see something that needs repaired and you put in a work order. That goes up to Morgantown. If they don't see that and put that in by the end of the day, and they put it in on 7 a.m. on the next day, we don't get it till the following day because our managers are already passing out the work orders for that day at 7. So there are times that you can put in a work order and we may not be able to assign it to someone for almost 2 days. So if there's a toilet that's overflowing or something smells funny, don't put in a work order because we may not be able to get to it for 2 days. Please call us. We encourage you to put a work order so that we can track that we did the work, but call the office, especially if it's something that you need within the next few hours or definitely within the next 24 hours. Last but not least, the best topic of the day, parking. Somehow, some way, our new chief of police may inherit parking. I can only hope. But for now, it's still in facilities hands. Now that we are going to be back at full capacity and in our classrooms, in our labs, we will be enforcing parking rules and regulations much more stringently this year. Last year, because the capacities were at half, we didn't feel like giving tickets and citations were appropriate with all the other costs that everybody else was incurring at that time. And we didn't have too bad of situations in regards to people parking in wrong areas, but we will be enforcing that this year. We will be, for the first 2 weeks, putting reminders on cars and giving warning tickets to students who may be parking in faculty spots because they were able to last year because we didn't give a citation. So the first 2 weeks, we'll be giving warnings to buy a permit if you don't have one and where the appropriate areas to park will be. So September 1st is when we'll start giving out actual citations. We ask you to please buy a permit if you do not have one and go ahead and visit it at the website. Thank you very much. President Long.
All right, the next gentleman I'm going to ask to come to the podium, some of you may have not met or seen. This gentleman comes from us from the Morgantown campus, but he is a true Southern West Virginian and a true West Virginian. Dr. Larry Rhodes, what I'd like to say about him is the fact that he is really the calming and the common sense approach around the table when we have administrative meetings. He is one of the kindest gentlemen, but also, if you don't know, a world-renowned pediatric heart surgeon, Dr. Larry Rhodes.
Thank you. I think the ones of you that know President Long know that she can somewhat stretch the truth. And she just did, to be totally frank. I am a pediatric cardiologist. I spend a lot of time in the southern part of the state, so much that I moved to Rainelle from Morgantown 4 years ago. I run around in the southern part of the state seeing patients. I'm not a COVID expert. I'm a pediatric cardiologist, but I have over 35 years experience taking care of young people. And what I want to just mention to you today is that we over the past 2 years, none of us are the same as we were on January the 1st of 2020. And this is true of our students and our incoming students. I've had the opportunity here in the last 5 months to spend more time talking to my patients and the families. And I've come across some somewhat disturbing things that I think you probably realize, but I'd just like to reinforce. I've met over a dozen of my patients that would be upcoming seniors in high school this year that are not going to be seniors. They're not going back to school. I know about 8 or more 16-year-olds that would be juniors that are not going back to school. I've talked to a number of families, and some of these families, you have to understand, I've known these children since the day they were born, and they're having both behavioral and mental issues right now. We have a tremendous amount of young people that are either have anxiety right now or depression, and some of them have both. And all I want to do today is just ask you to be patient and kind. We don't get that example very well from our leaders, not the leaders in the university, but I'm talking about the ones, the politicians. There's been mistakes made in taking care of the COVID issue. But the biggest mistake, I feel, is hatefulness and anger. And I guarantee you, we all in here don't agree about everything, but we need to have patience and kindness to one another, to the ones here today, and especially to our students. I have a feeling that you're going to have a student population this year that's going to be different than what you've dealt with in the years of your career. And I'd like for us to just leave the anger and the hatefulness to the politicians. They can carry this water. They've proved it. They've carried the water now for over 20 months, and they know how to be hateful and how to be angry. But let us not do that. Thank you. Have a good day.
And I didn't exaggerate. Okay. All righty. Next is our gentleman that oversees all of the athletics on our campus and does a wonderful job. I do want you to know that Kenny Howell was named River State Conference Athletic Director of the Year. And during a COVID year, he was so excited because he got an email and got to download and print his own certificate. So I would like you to introduce Mr. Kenny Howell.
You notice she left out the world-renowned part when introducing me. We do want to take just a moment and appreciate all the accomplishments of last season. It was nothing short of a miracle to play full seasons in all 18 sports. While we were somewhat fortunate, I think it was also due to the diligence and hard work of our staff, not just our coaches, but our administration and the help of the faculty and staff here on campus. We can't thank you enough for being patient and helping us in every way you can. If you'll notice, there aren't a lot of slides going to pop up while I'm talking, because as of 10:50 this morning, I'm not 100% sure what our protocols are going to look like. As of right now, we are permitted to follow the institutional guidelines set forth by West Virginia University. That being said, we are ready to pivot. So as we are ready to pivot, I'm sure I will be throwing myself at the mercy of those faculty and staff members who will be dealing with our students who will have trouble, and our late scheduling issues, and the fact that we will need all of the kindness and consideration that we can get. So we appreciate that. At this point, we are also allowing home event spectators at all of our events. This is true as of right now. So we ask that you make time, if you can, to come out and support the Golden Bears, and we look forward to a great season. Thank you.
Thank you, Kenny. And thank you, faculty, for I know the patience that you had to have last year, and it looks like you may have to have some more this year as we move through this and see what happens. Stephanie Allard is not going to come up at this point because she now is working in the finance world with Amy and Candace. But she still is going to be part of our development team, and she's done an excellent job. I will tell you that last year our goal for development was $800,000. Stephanie, come right here so they can see you in case they don't. And we did $1.2 million in development. And so she's going to be working. We're going to be hiring a person in connection with the foundation. They will be hiring somebody for all of Southern West Virginia, and that person will also be working with us. But Stephanie will continue with just a small part of her job, but she'll be working with all the donors that she had already made a great relationship with. So appreciate the job you did. So thank you. Okay. Here we go, guys. Very few things I've got. My staff, as always, did a wonderful job. Thank you for covering. I also want you to know that the governor has now decided his press conference will be at 11:30. Okay? Just like the news, you just keep our, okay, we just have, so we'll have to send you an email. So I think Emily explained about what the vaccinations were and how that will work, and she did a great job. I think we've already talked about the fact that you will have to make sure that you take roll in your class. So if we have to do contact tracing, we can do that. We will not be doing vaccinations on campus this year at this point because they're readily available. But as I have told some of the student groups, if you know somebody that a student especially, I think probably our faculty and staff has transportation. But if we have a student that wants to go get a vaccination, doesn't have transportation, you let us know. We will take them. I will take them if need be, because we don't want them not to do that because of transportation. The only time I would anticipate us maybe doing vaccinations on campus is if we get approved for boosters. And that very well may happen. I do know the state of West Virginia has actually discussed with the federal government, us being the first state to actually do kind of massive boosters. We'll see how that happens. I don't know if that's happened yet or not, but if it does, we probably will have that. As we've been told before, we will have masks available. If you are not vaccinated, we expect everyone to wear a mask. If you are vaccinated, you have a choice. And I can tell you, you see, I have mine, and some of you that came early saw me with mine on, and I will have mine on most of the time when I'm walking around the campus. It's not because I don't believe in vaccination, because I've been vaccinated, and I will get that booster. I'll be one of those first people, because I was one of the people that got the shots in December. But I have 2 grandchildren, and they can't get vaccinated. They're too young. So I want to make sure I keep them safe. But I also want to make sure I keep everybody else safe around me. That does not mean if you don't have a mask on that it's not all right, because it is. But I think it is a personal privilege. And just like Dr. Rhodes said so elegantly, you know, we have to be kind and we have to be understanding about different positions that's going to come to this. So I just want to kind of give you that idea. Again, we want to make sure that if someone tests positive, that we're doing the right thing. So there will be, last year, there was only in some cases a 10-day and you could get tested, quarantining. If you are unvaccinated, it will be 14 days. So the faculty needs to know that. Those students will not be in class or be asked to. If you have been vaccinated and you become a close contact, now this changed a little in the last couple of weeks. If you have been in close contact with somebody that does get it and you have been vaccinated, you will be asked to wear a mask for 3 to 5 days until you get tested again to make sure that you are negative. If you choose not to get tested, you will be asked to wear the mask for 14 days. Okay, so that's the difference. All right, we've talked about travel. Let's talk about the budget for a minute. Amy did a good job of giving the overview of what we're doing. I do want to tell you that WVU Tech, for the first time in probably 15 years, without the debt service, we're going to throw the debt service away. We're going to pretend we don't have that. The operating budget, for the first time, we were in the black. Now, because we do have a debt service, of course, we don't get to keep that. It doesn't roll over, which is a problem. So I'm going to see if I can broker a deal with all of you all and all of you that's on Zoom and with Morgantown, that if we come in the black again this year, we get to keep at least half of it. And I think they will do that. So we're all going to have to work hard, but you guys did a wonderful job. I mean, the year was different. It wasn't that different in some ways. In fact, of our expenses, the travel was the big issue. So we're still going to have to watch it, but I think we can do that. So I just wanted you to know, I'm very pleased. Enrollment, our freshman class is way up. Okay. Overall, our enrollment's still down a little compared to what it was this time last year. And I'm hoping as the next few days that will kind of, hope it'll get smaller and smaller. But of course, just like every time, if we don't have the enrollment, we don't have the money, because that's how they base our budget. So we're still going to have to look at that and see what we're doing. We'll have another campus meeting here within the next month or so. And if we have anything new, we will absolutely let you know immediately. But we're going to do it the same way we have done it this summer. If you noticed the emails from Tech, note I said that, from Tech, we said to you, here's what's happening. Go to the website if you want more information. We're going to do the same thing this year. If we have changes, now, if it's a big change, I may say we're going to have emergency Zoom meeting and we'll do that so everybody knows what's happening. But if it's something just minor or something that we can do without panicking, then we will do a short email saying, this has been updated. This is something different. Now go to the website for the details. We're going to try our best on the Tech campus not to send you 5 and 6 and 7 page emails. Because first of all, you don't read them. And I know better because sometimes I don't. Okay. So we want to make this so that we are up to date. We want you to get the information. You know how I feel about that. I want you guys to know this. I don't want anything to be hidden or not know it, but I do want us to do that. So we're going to try our best to continue to do it in that manner. So that's how we're going to proceed with that. So with that, I'm going to stop for a minute and see what kind of questions you have and what they have on Zoom. I know one of the first questions I'm going to get, and I think if Jen had kind of gave me a heads up about this one, is the fact of what do we need to be prepared to Zoom? You remember at the beginning, I said to you, I met with some of our students and asked them what their biggest concerns were. And that's their biggest concern. Both groups said to me, their biggest concern was they don't want to Zoom and they don't want to go home. So I can tell you, I don't think our students in that manner are any different than the Morgantown or the Potomac State students. I think we will do everything within our power. I can never promise anything because, as you know, we're still building this plane. I thought we would have gotten it built by now, but we are still building this plane and trying to fly it. So I would think that would be our last resort of sending everybody home and Zooming, okay? The other thing you have to remember is all of the things that we are doing this year, the masks and all those, we're not going to get any reimbursement from the federal government. The federal government has stopped giving the colleges any money other than what we can give directly to students, like Amy was talking about. So we have to watch. We're not going to, safety will always come first, not money. Don't get me wrong. But I think that will still have to be a factor when we take a look at some of the things we're going to be doing. But I do not think we will go to the Zoom mode unless things really, really get out of hand. Okay. I think that will be last resort. Okay. All right, questions in the room, and then I'll have Jen tell me what questions we have on the chat. Any questions in the room? Okay, yes, sir. Do they offer testing on site? They offer testing on site through the health department. Now, if our students, of course, we'll do surveillance testing and on a weekly basis. And if we have someone that wants to come and get tested, Emily can make sure we have a place, and we have a couple of places where we can send you that will not cost you anything. Okay. So, but to have big testing sites on campus at this point, we're not going to like we had last year. Okay. Other questions or concerns? Jen? Well, that's scary. Okay. Well, guys, you know, I can't say enough about what tech did last year. And what tech did is what you all did. Faculty, staff, students, we made this work. It wasn't easy. We had some bumps in the road, but we made it work. And I will tell you that I will stand up any place in this state, in this nation, and say, not only did you make it work, you probably made it work better than anybody else. So that's who we are. You are such a great group of people that we work as a family. As Larry said, we're going to have to be kind. We're going to have to be patient. We're going to have to be considerate of other people's ideas, but we will make this through. And I do think that there probably is some light at the end of the tunnel. I do think if we can get through this peak, that within the next couple or 3 months, maybe by Halloween, maybe we can all go trick or treating without our masks. Okay. Hopefully we can do that. And maybe that's the beginning of the end of this nightmare. But we've all learned from each other. I hope we will continue to learn from each other. And I just can't thank all of you enough. This is a very, very special place with, as I said, wonderful faculty, staff, magnificent students, and we have a true spirit of being a family. So I thank each of you for what you do. I thank each of you for how you do it. I want you to take care of yourselves, but also I want all of us to take care of each other. So let's have the best year we've ever had at WVU Tech, even in the midst of the pandemic. And I have to tell you, all of us are looking for redeeming values. All of us want to say, well, we've learned something, and we have. We've all learned this and that. But I think that really my athletic director summed it up better than anybody else in a staff meeting when I was trying to make everything positive. He said, I haven't found anything redeeming about this pandemic. So I want you to know that I think we can look at it that way too. But I do want to thank all of you. And I know we're going to do well. As soon as we know what the governor is going to do about the masks, we will let you know whether that changes or not. But at this point, and I will tell you, I don't think it'll change, but you know, when you say you don't think it will, it always does. There is a Board of Governors meeting in Morgantown today at 3 o'clock. Don't know what will come out of it, if anything changes. But right now, the mask policy is the same as what we have stated. If you have been vaccinated, you have a choice. If you have not been vaccinated, we ask you to wear your masks. There will not be any penalties in essence until September 1st, when we look at this, our percentages, and that's when we will decide how we're going to move forward. So again, let's take care of ourselves, take care of everyone around us. Let's go Golden Bears.